And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome aboard. I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan, and this is your Alaska Marine Weather Outlook on this Friday, December 5th, 2025. And starting with the sea ice, the ice has really grown here along the west coast, and we're going to have strong offshore winds. We have big high pressure in the Arctic Ocean building southeastward across the North Slope into northwest Canada as low pressure moves up into the Gulf, and strong northeast winds because of the tight pressure gradient across the interior will be driving Arctic air all off of the west coast this weekend. We could see some strong wind gusts as high as 50-60 miles an hour out of Kuskokwim and Bristol Bays. So the ice will likely be expanding with the colder temperatures that will be coming in here along the southwest coast, Alaska Panhandle, and even up in parts of the Cook Inlet as we go through the weekend, and certainly next week when the cold air is well entrenched. Late tonight, Friday night into early Saturday morning, like 3 a.m., we have the low over the southwest Gulf, the high up there building into the far north slope, eventually into northwest Canada. There will be heavier snow along this frontal system along the northeastern Gulf Coast, northern Panhandle. Some areas could see 1 to 2 feet of snow through this weekend into early Monday. Meanwhile, clear skies, bitter cold, air temperatures that could be as cold as 30, even near 40 below zero in portions of the eastern interior, and certainly down around 10 below in the southwest. You factor in winds gusting 30, 40, even 50 plus miles an hour. Bitter cold, dangerous wind chills. You're going to have strong winds, higher seas in the southeast Bering, and very heavy freezing spray. Saturday, the low sits in the southwest Gulf. Notice the pressure gradient here over the interior. And as that turns northeast to northerly here across the Alaska Peninsula, the colder air will advance across the Alaska Peninsula Saturday with snow showers and blowing snow. And then into Sunday, the low kind of wraps up and begins to weaken, but a secondary low is going to come up along this front Monday into the Panhandle with the potential for more snow, especially central and northern areas. So here is the way the winds are shaping up in waves for Saturday. Interchannel south to southeast winds 25 knots. Waves 5-6 feet, Lynn Canal, Stevens Passage, maybe 6-7 feet inside there of Dixon Entrance. For the outer coast, generally south winds 25 knots, turning southeast to east, 35 knot gales, Cape Suckling, with waves running anywhere from 10 to 14 feet. Sunday, you can clearly see the frontal boundary is going to be draped out in this area here, just south of the Icy Strait corridor. North winds to 25 knots in the colder air there, Lynn Canal to Juneau. South of that, south-southeast winds 25 to 30 knots, waves as high as 10-11 feet here outside of Ketchikan and Metlakatla. For the outer coast, south winds 20 to 25 knots from Sitka, Port Alexander to off of Craig. And then for the northeastern Gulf Coast, look for east winds that could be 35-40 knot gust at least there from the ice Cross Sound on up to outside of Yakutat Bay with 14-15 foot waves. Winds are also going to be strong over in the northwestern Gulf, including Cook Inlet and Prince William Sound. Look for northeast winds 45 knots. Prince William Sound waves 8-9 feet. Outside of Hinchinbrook Entrance, up to 45 knot gales from the northeast, and coming out of the Copper River, where that you really have that strong outflow of 65 knot gusts potentially down the length of Cook Inlet, northeast winds 45 knots with waves 13 to 16 feet. And then on Sunday, still very strong winds across the northwestern Gulf, Cook Inlet, upper Cook Inlet, Prince William Sound, northeast winds 40 knots. Outside of Hinchinbrook Entrance over toward the Copper River there, winds still northeasterly at 50 knots, and lower Cook Inlet, lower half off of Anchor Point down to the north side of Shelikof Strait. We're looking at northeast to north winds of 15 knots with waves 16 to as high as 18 feet. Across the Alaska Peninsula, also very windy. We're looking at gales of 35 to 45 knot northerly gales around Kodiak Island, highest Shelikof Strait on Saturday with 10 to 11 foot waves, but it's the north side of the Alaska Peninsula, the Bering side 35 to 40 knot north winds with gusts to 50 knots out of Bristol Bay, waves 10 to 15 feet there. And there's going to be snow showers and blowing snow as well. For Sunday, still gale force 45 knot winds Shelikof Strait, 35 knot gale force winds east of Kodiak City. As we trail out along the Alaska Peninsula, winds will be northeast to north, generally 20 to 25 knots, but still northeasterly 30 knots out of Bristol Bay. And across the Aleutians, strongest winds Saturday will be in the far eastern Aleutians, Dutch Harbor on Alaska, northerly gales to 35 knots with some snow showers trying to push in from the north and east. Otherwise, the rest of the Aleutians, winds will go north to easterly, generally 15 to 20 knots. For Sunday, those stronger winds and higher waves push westward as the circulation around that low expands out over the Gulf. So we're looking at 30 to 35 knot northerly gales from Unalaska through Nikolsky, Atka to Adak. Once you get west of Adak, winds do come down northeasterly at 20 to 25 knots, but some of the waves could be running 15 to 20 feet on the north side of the Aleutians there between Adak and Unalaska. And then for the west coast, look at this. Talk about strong offshore flow. 45 knot gales out of Kuskokwim Bay, 40 knot gales with gusts to 50 knots, that's 60 miles an hour, out of Bristol Bay, especially near Dillingham. And then out toward St. Matthew, St. Paul, northeast winds to 25 knots, waves 9 to 10 feet. Ice along the lower Yukon coast and Norton Sound with northeast to north winds 25 to 30 knots. And throw on top of that, bitter cold wind chills. Air temperatures are going to be falling to below zero along the coast. And then out over the open water where you have these waves and strong winds, there's going to be very, very heavy freezing spray. Winds are going to be northerly to northeasterly gales, essentially from Bristol Bay and the Pribilofs all the way along the lower Yukon coast into Norton Sound. And waves out toward the Pribilofs and St. Matthew 13 to 16 feet on Sunday. Lighter winds the farther north you go. Across the Bering Strait, winds will be northeast at 15 knots. There is ice in place there. Coming up along the Lisburn Peninsula, winds turn more easterly, 15 to 20 knots on Saturday, and then flip around to the west, 10 to 15 knots, Prudhoe Bay to Kaktovik. And again, this area is iced in now, and temperatures are going to be colder, below zero. And for Sunday, we're looking at west winds 10 knots, Prudhoe Bay to Kaktovik, turning south to southeasterly, and then turning back toward the northeast. Once you get around the Lisburn Peninsula, Point Hope, to out of Kotzebue Sound, northeast to east winds 10 knots, and then the west side of the Seward Peninsula, 20 knot northeast winds at Wales and Port Clarence, increasing to 30 knot northeast winds on the north side of St. Lawrence Island for Sunday.